Right then, here's the timber I bought yesterday. That's 7B1, and I got some other short lengths there. And basically, that's what I've got in mind for the observation hive. I'm gonna join these together and cut that wood out, so the actual brood area is massive. I've seen some other guy do that. Just got to make the entrance, because the entrance obviously be at the bottom, so I'm going to make that a bit bigger than that 2B1. I might increase the gap slightly on that. So yeah, that'll be the brood. I've got there'll be 3 brood frames there for honey storage, and then you got some super frames going up there. So yeah, that's basically, and that's about, I think it's about 49 inches high. So what I'm going to do now is make the frame out of that 7B1 and get started. Right then, so what I'm doing here is using a chop saw, and I am preparing the outer frame, which is 7B1 timber. Now this is just pine wood, it's not anything special. Bearing in mind it is going to go in a shed. I'm now sorting out the top and bottom pieces of timber. I've pre-drilled the holes with a small drill, and then I've screwed them to the front and back support. I'm using a tool, I do believe it's called a square, to make sure everything is square in the corners before putting the screws in. I'm just using screws that I've got lying around, which are adequate for the job. And before I screw these together, they are being sorted with wood glue. So I'll put wood glue down the joint and then screw them together, as you can see. But you must make sure this is all square, otherwise it's going to give you a problem when you make the door. As you can see, look, nice and square that is. That's the wood glue I'm using. It is just a standard wood glue, weatherproof, etc. But this observation hive will be going inside a shed, and it will be protected from the elements. Hence the reason I'm just using like a pine timber. I mean, to use a hardwood timber would cost me an absolute arm and a leg. That's even if I could get my hands on the timber in England. So there you go, screwing them in. That's all dead square. Just running down the cracks there with a bit of wood glue. And there it is. That's the outer frame, or the frame, which everything is going to be built to. As I say, it's all square. Very important to make sure this is all square from the start. And now I'm fixing, I do believe, I mean, I'm not a carpenter, so you gotta bear with me. It's like a 3B1 timber. And what I'm doing, I'm just fixing it to this. And there'll be, it'll go on the outer edge of the 7x1, and it'll go all the way round to give it full support and make it so it basically it doesn't move. So it'll go down both sides and the bottom, leaving a gap in the middle. And obviously just use the appropriate screws so it don't go through the timber. And I do pre-drill the holes with a small drill piece so I don't split the wood. And as you can see, it's a nice sunny day for this start of this project. There you go. And it is quite a high observation hive. A lot higher than most of them I have seen. And what I'm doing here, which I could have done at an earlier point to be fair, I am just cutting out a section at the bottom of the hive for ventilation, and then I'll put a mesh over it, and I've got access for putting like I don't know what it's called actually, it's just like a plastic stuff, flexible plastic stuff that'll go in as like a mite tray. I will actually buy the correct mesh that allows the mites to drop through, and then the debris, and then I can just pull it out from underneath. I did make one minor error when doing this. I actually put the mesh, fix the mesh to the top, nail it down, but if I'd have thought about it, I could have got it in between two timbers at the bottom there. You see how that 3x1 goes all the way round? I could have actually put the mesh underneath that gap, and then put the 3x1 around it, so it was like in between sandwiched in between two pieces of wood. But to be fair, as you'll see later on in the video, it turned out all right, so it's not really a big deal. But you will need quite a bit of different power tools for this. Chop saw, screwdrivers, jigsaws, etc. Plane. So don't start to attempt this type of thing unless you've got some kit. And you know what to say, a man is only as good as the tools he's got. If you've not got any kit, you're not a man. And just chop that out. As you see, there's a gap. There it is, all cut out, sanded down, etc. Starting to look good now, taking a bit of shape. And here's just a bit of a view. I used 2x1 timber to hold the frames. These are Langstroth frames. There you go. Starting to look good. Still more work to do on it at this point, but just wanted to show you how it's coming on there. You got 3 lots of Langstroth super frames, It holds 3 frames wide. What I'm doing here, it's more kit you need. I'm using, I don't know what size that drill bit is, but basically I'm drilling a hole there for the feeder. You can get like a round plastic feeder, and it's got a little piece at the bottom, and that will just slot straight into that. And then when you don't want to feed them, take your round plastic feeder out, and I've got to figure out something I'm going to put on there. Yeah, I'll probably just get a piece of timber, little square piece of timber, and screw it over that when I'm not feeding them, because obviously you only want to feed them early in the year, springtime. You don't want to continuously feed them when they're producing honey, because obviously you're feeding them on sugar syrup, and you don't want your honey making out of sugar syrup, which is what the triple super frames are at the top of this observation hive. So I've got 3, 3 and 3. Hopefully they'll be used for honey production, and I'll have like 9 frames, super frames for honey production. You know, it is on fire, classic. And the other 2 little holes either side of that are for vents. I've got some little vents used on beehives. You can either like use it as a vent, or it'll allow the bees to pass through. They'll go on them 2 small holes. There they are. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but I got about a dozen of them for less than a £5, I think. Handy bits of kit, to be fair. As you can see, look, turn it round to the vent position. Right, here I am putting the actual base on. This is the bit where I could have put the mesh at the bottom of the hive. Could have put it in between that instead of where I do put it, but I didn't think about it at the time. And here you can see I've actually made the door. I think it's like 1.5 by 1.5 timber, all glued together. There's the mesh. Got I don't know, I'll pay for that either. Got 2 sheets, 2 big sheets of that for about, I think it's about 12 quid. And there's the door handle on. And that's where the little bit of plastic will go in, so I can see if there's any mites dropping down. And that is where the entrance will be. And that gap going up there will actually be where the bees go up, basically, because it's going in the shed, and the back of the shed backs up to a wall. Here you've got the queen excluder, so I've had to cut the corners out to compensate for the quadrant on the door and on the back there. There's only 1 door opening. I don't see any need to have a door either side with perspex in it. There's the underview. What I've done is basically screwed the queen excluder to them brood frames, which will be for honey storage for the bees. And as you can see there, look, and there it is with some hinges on the door, some catches, quadrants in for the plastic see-through stuff, what do I call it, forgot. Yeah, and that piece there is for a entrance if I want to put a new queen in them little plastic boxes. I'll be able to just There's a piece that's going on there. You'll see that. There's the entrance again. And there you have a bit of perspex on. It's got the protective film on it, blue protective film. And this is the most satisfying bit. It's just like opening up a new iPhone, isn't it? Look at that beauty. And that's the actual side that doesn't open. You'll be able to see that. But that side doesn't open. And the actual brood frames is 2 brood frames joined together at the bottom, and it's about 18 inches high. 18 inches high. I have seen some video where Guy has done that, and you end up getting the brood in a circle. Right then, here we are with the observation hive at near completion stage. There you go. We've put locking caster wheels at the front and normal caster wheels at the back without locks. There you go. Ideal if you want to move the hive at a later point, like moving the house or something. Just got to get the bees in there from the entrance. Here we've got a blast cover. Don't know what they are, from America, but that allows me to put a queen in there in the little queen boxes, just in case something happens to the queen. Got access there without opening the doors. We've got the plywood door there, and we've got the quadrant going round there, which makes the base for the glass front, which is just clear plastic. There's a plywood door with the hinges on and a little silver handle to open it and close it, make it easy. We've got the rabbit hutch catches, which are very cheap to buy off eBay and very handy for doing the job of just keeping the door closed. Starting to look good though, starting to look good. Here we are with the main entrance for viewing. We've got the quadrant there on the inside, gives you an idea what it looks like. That makes the support for the clear plastic window. There you go. That's what it looks like. So that is the complete door, made out, I think it's 2.5 by 1 inch, and it just worked out perfectly and fitted perfectly. Very lucky. Got a big handle there for opening and closing the door. I'm not going to show you it closing because it's quite heavy, that door is, and the hive will tip over. Here we've got my homemade frame, brood frame. There will be 3 of those. I've got 2 more to make. Actually should do a video on those and show you how I made them. But just basically 2 brood frames together. We've got the vent there, which allows mites to drop through. Put a bit of plastic in there so you can do mite counts, etc. Here we've got 3 brood frames fixed together with a queen excluder using those screws underneath, and the 2 outer brood frames, because it's 3 wide. I've just cut a section out there so you can watch them build their own cone, but that won't be coming out, that will just stay there. Then you've got 3 super frames, 3 wide, so it's 9 altogether, and hopefully they should give me honey production off those. Take them out. You've got the top entrance there. There's 2 entrances to the beehive. That's the top one. That'll be going straight out to the back of the shed. Not south facing, but hey, what can you do? Bottom entrance there, which basically on the other side goes all the way up that gap there and then comes out. So from the brood box at the bottom comes straight up over this, straight up through the middle there, which has got that 9x1 on the front. And you've got two entrances, one for the bottom of the brood, which to come up the gap, and one straight in towards the super frames at the top. I've just cut that section out there, so when I push it in, red mark there, I know which is the top and which is the bottom. So I better go straight in there, down to the bottom of the brood frame, and the other ones for the supers. But rabbit touch catches there, so for the display, and catches there for the actual door. I mean, theoretically, you ain't got to keep opening it up, but we should be okay with that. You got a top section there for feeding, and two vent covers there, which they can block up if they feel the need. But yeah, we're getting there. We're nearly finished it now. Hopefully I should be able to give you an idea of what it's cost me. But yeah, a bit of hard work to do it, but I think it'll be worth it to see what the bees are getting up to. And by the time you see this video, we're looking at probably next March 24 before I put the bees in. Just want to make sure it's all situated properly and looks good. Right then, here we are with the base for the observation hive just there. Ignore them brackets, I just had to glue it there. Got a nice panel at the back to support the hive. Bear in mind, this is a shed. Got two entrance holes there, which is what them plastic pipes you just seen are for. Hive comes to roughly the top of that, which will allow for a feeder, which will only be used at the beginning of the year. It won't be used when they start making honey for me. So I've put together the entrance for the observation hive. This will actually sit on the outer side of the shed. As you will note, there is two entrance holes, one going to the top of the hive where the honey super frames are, and one going down a channel in the observation hive to the base of the hive. So basically it just looks a bit like a bird box, as you can see. It's been undercoated and glossed for weather protection purposes. But yeah, that's basically it. And it will have three holes. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one at the top there to fix it. And it will just basically sit like that. That's made out of 8.5 by 3/4 inch timber, 9x1 they call it, with a piece there as a landing board. So yeah, that's that. I'll show you that when it's fitted to the outside of the shed. Right then, as you can see, there's the entrance on the back side of the shed, sheltered by the guttering and stuff up there. Just put some silicone around the top just in case. And yeah, there it is. And on the inside, there you go. There's your landing board and two entrances. There's the entrance on the left that goes to the top of the hive, and there's the entrance that goes down the channel and leads to the brood chamber. So yeah, I mean, I know it's not south facing, but hey, some of us want to live in a £500,000 house, and some of us have to put up with the terrace. But there you go. So yeah, there it is. Entrance all sorted. Happy days. Right then, there you go. That's it, all installed. As you can see, put that ply down on the floor and on the wall. But yeah, that's just about it, all ready to go for next year. I presume it's about March, if anybody knows when the exact time to introduce new bees to a new hive is, but I think it's about March time, end of March, something like that. Let me know in the comments, guys. But yeah, there it is, with the entrance on the outer side. So yeah, there it is. Happy days. It's got your perspex on it. Stick around for future videos. Probably in the next one I'll let you know how much it's cost, but it weren't too bad, to be fair. Still got a bit of clearing out to do in the shed, sorting out, but that's it. And your top entrance is up there, you can see that over there. Queen excluder. I've got 2 more of these frames to make, probably do a video on that like I said before. And there's the bottom entrance, but yeah, clear perspex, beautiful. Casters on there. Entrance if in case I need to put a new bee in, but I'm going to put a piece of wood down there, I think, to stop them doing stuff inside here. I'm going to do that, and then that just drops down. There you go. Seal that up. But yeah, there it is. Hope you've enjoyed the content of this video on how to make your very own observation hive. Bees in the shed. Happy days. Look at that beauty. It's awesome, that, isn't it? You've got to admit, that does look well. And like I say, you've got 3 Langstroth honey frames there. Got some brood frames there for their own honey. Took the wax off around the edge on both sides, so you can see them building their own cone. And I forgot what it is now, 18, 19 inch brood frames. So yeah, should be all right. Feed tray on the top, that just comes off. Still got to sort something out for that when I'm not using it. I think I'll just be used in the initial startup, so they've got food to build cone and stuff. But yeah, there it is. Can't complain at that, can you? Looks well, doesn't it? So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for up and coming videos, guys. Stick around, this will be interesting next year.